Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching. I've got a short mobility flow to kind of take you through. This would be a great warm up before a workout. I feel really great. I just finished the workout. I'm gonna go for a run after this. So that would be great. You can also use it as kind of a recovery day as well to just kind of focus on mobility work. So several different exercises I'm gonna take you through. I did them for 1 minute and then rotated through each exercise. If you don't wanna kind of focus on time and you wanna do 10 reps for each exercise, that would probably be about the same as well, and that would give you about a 20-minute workout, okay? So the first exercise is a groiner with an open up. So you're gonna start in a push-up position, hips are down in line with our shoulders and our ankles. We are going to pull our foot towards the outside of our hand. Once that foot is planted, we're gonna take that inside hand, we're gonna open up towards that front knee, okay? And rotating sides. Okay, so you can do about 10 reps for that one. Next, we'll move to a hip flexor and hammy stretch. So you're gonna start in a hip flexor stretch. You can push that hip forward to get a nice stretch here in this hip flexor. And we're gonna shift our weight back, bring that front leg straight and hinge forward from the hips. Should feel a nice stretch in that hamstring and that front leg here, okay? Again, depending on your flexibility, we wanna hinge forward. You can reach for your toes. I'm not very flexible, so I'm gonna keep it about right here, but just rotating through these two stretches. So we're gonna go hip flexor and shift back to that hammy stretch, okay? And doing about 10 each side or 1 minute each side for that one, okay? Next we have a down dog to cobra, okay? So you're gonna start in that down dog position and I'm driving my hips up, I'm pushing my heels towards the mat, okay? And from here, I'm gonna lower myself to a push-up position, bring myself to my mat, and push up, getting a nice stretch in our abdominals, in our hip flexors as well. Hold here for a second, lower yourself back down, and back up to downward dog. Okay, about 10 reps through that one. Okay, next we have a 90 to 90 to kneeling. So for this, make sure your knees are on the mat because otherwise it could be a little hard on your knees. But you're gonna start here in this position. You can put your hands behind you. We're gonna do a 90-90 rotation and lift yourself up to a kneeling position and back down, okay? I did 1 minute each side for this one. If you're a little more advanced, you can keep your hands kind of in the front the entire time as you rotate through those positions, okay? So that was the 90-90 to kneel. The next is thread the needle. A nice stretch for the chest and the torso muscles. So we're going to reach up and reach through, thread the needle, and I drop this arm out straight in front. Hold here for a second. Trying to get just a little bit more rotation with each repetition. Okay, and you can do 10 each side or about 1 minute each direction. Okay, that was thread the needle. Next is cat-cow. Again, just a nice stretch for those core muscles. So starting in this quadruped position, I'm going to kind of try to look up and really arch my back, feeling a nice stretch in my abdominal muscles. And then I want to round my back out, kind of pulling my belly up towards the ceiling. And this should get a good stretch in our posterior chain and our back muscles and those traps, rhomboids as well. Just kind of rotating through those two positions. Okay, that's the cat-cow. Next we'll move to a pigeon and quad stretch. So for this, you're gonna start in the pigeon position and put that knee wherever it feels like a good stretch for this IT band or for this piriformis, these muscles over here, wherever feels right. So sometimes I like to have that knee kind of straight ahead, like even with my head. Sometimes I like to have that knee kind of across my body towards the opposite shoulder. Really just depends on where it kind of feels good in this area. Okay, so find whatever that position is for you. And for this, we're gonna start here. We're gonna slide down to the mat and kind of relax your head on your mat for a second. Then we're coming up to this position, grabbing that back heel or foot for a quad stretch. Hold here for a few seconds and just rotating through these positions. Okay, so pigeon to quad stretch. You can do about 10 reps and then switch and do the other side. Okay. Next, I have a single leg hammy with a side stretch. So here, you're gonna start in this position. And this one I really like for my back. Honestly, I feel it more in my back than in my hamstrings, but it should hit both of those. So we're gonna start in this position. I'm gonna reach over top towards that foot, okay? Then I'm gonna set this hand down. I'm gonna drive my hips up and kind of open up and get a nice stretch through this side, through these lats on the top. Okay, set yourself back down and reaching over back for that foot, okay? So again, 10 of those or about a minute each side for that, okay? Next, I'm gonna sneak in just a little tiny bit of core work here. We're gonna do a flutter kick hammy pull, okay? So we're laying flat on our backs. You can either have your head laying down or you can have your head just slightly elevated, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Starting with our hands overhead, we're reaching up and getting a nice hammy pull here. Okay, so again, try to keep that leg straight if you can. Again, some of you are more flexible than me, so you can get that leg up a little bit higher. And just rotating sides. Hold for about a second here and back down. If you want more of a challenge for like your core, you can keep those feet elevated at the bottom, right? So you can keep them here and do it this way to get a little bit more of an abdominal burn if that's what you're after, okay? So that was the flutter kick with hammy pull. Next, again, sneaking in just a little bit of core strength and focusing on good hip mobility, hamstring. I love this stretch. This is called the iron cross. So you're gonna start in this position. Again, head can be flat or you can have your head just slightly elevated. This is a little bit more of a challenge if you have your head up. Okay, so I'm going to bring my leg straight up, bring it over towards my opposite hand, back to center and back down, just rotating sides. Again, if you want a little bit more of an abdominal burn, you can keep those feet elevated while you do this. And that's gonna make it a little bit more challenging. Again, should feel a nice stretch in the chest as you're kind of coming across. So try to keep that shoulder down to really open up that chest and get a nice stretch there. Okay, so that was the iron cross. Next, I have a reverse plank bridge. So come up to a seated position. You can put your hands right around your hips or just a little bit extended off of those hips. And you are going to pop yourself up here. You're going to look back, drive those hips up, keep that core pulled in tight, and back down, okay? Again, should feel a nice stretch here in our chest and kind of in those upper arms as we're kind of opening up that position and back down, okay? Again, keep that core tight, drive those hips up for that exercise. That was a reverse plank bridge. And then ending with 2 cross-legged stretches. Okay, so for this, get yourself to a cross-legged position, and I called this a rainbow reach, cross-legged rainbow reach, because you're kind of moving around the circle as you do this stretch. And again, find what feels good, find where you feel tight, and kind of hold those positions a little bit longer if you need to. But basically, I started with a reach this direction, then we're gonna kind of pull forward this direction, across this knee, towards the center, towards your other knee, and then another side stretch here, okay? Again, maybe about 10 seconds each spot or whatever feels comfortable, kind of based on where you're sore or where you feel like you're kind of tight. So that was the cross-legged rainbow reach. And then lastly, just ending with a nice neck stretch. You can do nice circles each direction. And then I did an assisted neck stretch as well, where I'm just kind of placing my hand lightly on my head. And again, kind of moving it through in a circle through all my range of motion. Okay. And that is it for today. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will see you next time.